This is your video tutorial on how to use a reading strategy called Signposts for Nonfiction. So we're going to be looking at this side, the nonfiction side. This is going to be for informational texts, for personal essays, for scientific articles, for journal articles, anything, newspapers, anything like that. So we're going to be taking a look at these signposts. So as you're reading, you're going to want to be looking for contrasts and contradictions, right? So somewhere you're going to see two ideas or two concepts that are butting heads with one another, that don't connect in any way. As it says here, there's a contrast between what we're expecting and what we see actually happening. There's some differences taking place. The bride said that she was ecstatically happy on her wedding day as she cried, right? Happy, cry. Those are two contrasting ideas. So when we talk about contrast and contradictions, and in your reader's notebook, you can just put C and C. That's what you're going to be looking for. Someplace where you've got opposing ideas or contrasting opposites within a text. Extreme and absolute language. This is where language, there's no, beyond a shadow of a doubt. There is no doubt. So you'll probably see words like always, never, right? Because those are extreme. They make you think that it's always going to happen or it's never going to happen. There's no compromise, or it seems to blow things out of proportion. Hyperbole, right? Think about what a hyperbole, it's exaggerated language. So that's considered absolute or extreme or absolute language. If I've told you once, I've told you a million times. Well, no, you literally have not said it a million times. That would be an example of extreme and absolute language. So as you're reading through the text, you want to be aware of and be looking for uses of that. Numbers and stats are another one. So for this, you could, for the earlier one, extreme and absolute language, you can just shorten it to EAL. So you know EAL means it's extreme and absolute language. For this one, numbers and stats, you can write N and S. Numbers, stats. So that's where they're giving you numbers, specific numbers. Or on the opposite end, they might be really vague. They may say there were thousands of people. There were millions of options. It was just a fraction. Okay, well, which fraction exactly? So you want to be aware. Sometimes they're going to give you really specific numbers or talk about a specific size or a scale, and they're going to do that for a particular reason. But they may also do the opposite. The writer might do an opposite of that and be really imprecise. Be really vague about those details. Why would they be vague about those details? So that's what numbers and stats looks like. The next one, quoted words. So these are going to be words that are in quotation marks for some particular reason. Either it's an eyewitness account, so they're quoting somebody who was there, or they're quoting an expert because they want to add some ethos. They want to add some authenticity to what they're saying. So you want to look for anything that might be in quotation marks. And for this, you could just write quote, right? And the last one is word gaps. So this is going to be a vocabulary that you might not be familiar with. And there's a couple of reasons why you might not be familiar. Either it's a word that has multiple meanings, it's a really rare word, or it might be discipline specific. That means it's topic specific. If you're talking about, or if you're reading an article about a lunar module, something going to the moon, they might use some really technical words that have to do with the moon or space or aeronautics or the rocket or science in some way. So those are going to be words that they use for the writers using it for a purpose. Either it's to, again, add some ethos, give you some credibility, or they might be doing it to try to confuse the reader, to try to sway the reader to a particular perspective, trying to convince you of something by using big words. So when you're reading nonfiction, these are the notes you should be taking and the things you should be looking for within the text.